There's been a lot of Marvel games that have been announced. We know of a ton that are on the way, and that's honestly really exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the superhero games that are coming. But you know, this channel started out covering the Batman Arkham games. This channel started out covering a lot of DC superhero games, and for a time, that's the biggest compliment that people gave DC. Maybe in the movie department, they weren't doing the best to compete with Marvel.
Kal-El, no!
But when it came to the games, there was nothing quite like Batman Arkham. Now, though, it seems as though roles have reversed. But I wanted to talk about some upcoming DC games that we can look forward to, some of which have a ton, and I mean a ton of promise. Starting off immediately, well, with one that I don't know has a ton of promise, one that I am definitely interested in checking out, and it's the one that's coming out the soonest, and that is Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. This game is out in basically a month. If you get that deluxe edition, you're going to be able to get your hands on this game on January 30th. It's February 2nd for everybody. I'm certainly intrigued to see how Rocksteady plans to continue the Arkhamverse. There's a couple of aspects of the game that I'm not 100% sure about, and I certainly agree with a lot of people online where I think that, yeah, I would have liked to have seen a Rocksteady game that wasn't Suicide Squad. I would have liked to have seen them tackle another DC hero. But if this is their creative vision, if this is what they wanted to make, well, then I'm gonna have to check it out. I want to see what they have in store for us. And the next game that I have here actually is you scrolling down and hitting that like button if you're looking forward to some of the upcoming DC games. There's a lot more on this list that I think are going to get some people really hyped. And next up, we actually have Wolf Among Us 2. Now, okay, you're typing your comment and you're saying, that's not DC. You're wrong. That is actually a DC-owned property. This is, by all intents and purposes, a DC game. And Wolf Among Us is definitely, for a lot of people, the best Telltale game that was ever made, and I know the hype for Wolf Among Us 2 is astronomically high. We've been sitting here patiently waiting to get some updates, waiting to hear when we might be able to get our hands on this game, and I hope this doesn't end up being something that gets canceled. I don't think that's going to happen, but man, it's been a while since we've gotten some updates. Here's hoping 2024 is the year for us to finally hear more from Wolf Among Us 2, and maybe for us to finally get our hands on it. And you know, when I am making these videos, I got to type up a large script. There's a lot of research that goes into putting something like this together. And I need a keyboard that's comfortable, something that I like typing on, something that feels nice. And that's where I want to talk about Corsair's K70 Core RGB mechanical gaming keyboard. They sent this over to me, and I mean, it's a thing of beauty. I switched out all the keycaps with the ones they provided me, and it just looks so sleek. The RGB on it is incredible. It feels really nice. It sounds amazing. It's just super satisfying to use. It's also just the perfect size for my desk. It doesn't take up too much space. It's got customizable media controls, a nice little knob if you want to adjust your volume, or you can change that to being your brightness, whatever you like for it to be, honestly. Just make sure you download the iQ companion app so that you can customize the keyboard to your liking. If you'd like to buy your own K70 Core RGB mechanical gaming keyboard, the link is going to be in the description box below. Thank you very, very much to Corsair for sending over the keyboard. I love it. I can't wait to continue using it on future videos. And okay, next up is a mysterious one. This DC game has been announced earlier this year, and we haven't really heard anything about it. We don't know much about it, and it's called DC Dark Legion. Now, all we know right now for sure is that this is indeed a mobile game. And I know some people don't like mobile games. I understand that's not your thing. You want those big AAA titles. I get it. But we're talking about all DC games here in this video, so this is a game that definitely counts. And I should mention as well, it's believed that this game is going to be dropping at some point in 2024. I used to not be much of a mobile game player myself, but then Marvel Snap came along, and I have put hundreds, I'm not even kidding, hundreds of hours into that game. So I'm hoping now that DC Dark Legion is going to be doing something like that for me for the DC side of things. Maybe this is going to be a new mobile game for me to be able to sink my teeth into and put hundreds of hours into as well. And hey, you know, recently James Gunn, who is one of the heads now at DC Studios, got to talking over on Threads. See, somebody asked James whether or not Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League was going to be the last game within the Arkhamverse, and James Gunn actually replied saying that there are no plans for it to be the last. Now, I personally don't know how much involvement specifically at this current moment that James Gunn has with the WB games specifically, but he has mentioned that he wants there to be some sort of connectivity now with film television, and games going forward with the DC brand. I don't think that a potential new Arkham game is going to fall under that umbrella, but I mentioned that specifically just because it must mean that James Gunn has had some sort of meeting or discussion with the games division. So we might have a bit of an idea of the going-ons at WB Games, including maybe a new Arkham game, or at the very least, a game post-Suicide Squad that's set within the Arkhamverse, maybe from the perspective of another Justice League member. A Superman game would be really nice, Rocksteady. And another obvious one that I wanted to point out here in this video, you probably are aware of this one, or maybe you need to be reminded. A couple of years back during the Game Awards, Monolith and WB Games revealed that they were working on a Wonder Woman game. This was announced to be a single-player open-world action adventure and is going to feature the Nemesis system that Monolith has become most famous for. I was pretty late to the party with the Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War games, but oh my goodness, they are so much fun. I'm not even a diehard Lord of the Rings fan, but man, I was invested in the story. And of course, the gameplay is just top notch and actually is inspired a lot by the Arkham games, which just gets me even more excited for the Wonder Woman game. That Nemesis system as well is one of the best new features in modern gaming, and I cannot wait to see how Monolith utilizes it within the DC universe. There is not much else that's known about this game right now. There was some leaked concept art that surfaced online from somebody's LinkedIn, but that's about it. A lot of people don't realize that usually these games are announced as early as they are simply because these studios want to entice people to work with them. These trailers that announce games super duper early usually act as promotional material to recruit new developers, and the Wonder Woman game is one of those instances. So we might not hear about this for quite a bit, but I'm sure whenever we do see some more, it's gonna look amazing. I'm just gonna let Monolith cook on this one, all right? I cannot wait to see what this is gonna be like, because out of the entire list of games I have here, this one definitely has the most potential by a mile. And hey, you know, earlier this year, back in September, NetherRealm Studios finally released their next installment in the Mortal Kombat franchise and actually broke the trend that they were usually following, having an Injustice game come out after a Mortal Kombat game. Instead, this time from MK11, they went straight to Mortal Kombat 1, which left a lot of people and a lot of DC fans wondering whether or not we're going to be getting an Injustice 3 at some point in the future. And it sounds like that is almost certainly going to be the case, but this is something that we're definitely going to have to wait out for. Ed Boon has teased in certain interviews that they will probably get back to Injustice 3 and that we should expect that NetherRealm will make an Injustice 3 at some point. But Ed Boon was also on the record in mentioning that Mortal Kombat 1 is going to have some sort of aftermath type DLC, which I expect is going to be launching next year, and who knows how much longer they want to support the game after that. So Injustice 3 is a long ways away, but man, I cannot wait for it. I know a lot of you guys found this channel from Injustice 2, so it's going to be a glorious day whenever we see NetherRealm announce an Injustice 3. And then finally, I wanted to talk about something that I'm actually really looking forward to if the rumors end up being true. This one really pulls on the nostalgia strings, okay? There are rumors circulating that a Lego Batman 4 is in development. An article was posted on PlayStation Lifestyle actually at the beginning of the year, and PlayStation Lifestyle pointed out in their article that in a now deleted tweet, a game designer that worked on the Lego games mentioned that Lego Batman 4 is being worked on. Now, situations like these, it's hard to get a read on, okay, because this doesn't necessarily mean official confirmation that Lego Batman 4 is happening. This could mean a whole number of things. I don't work in game development. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is 100% confirmation. Yes, Lego Batman 4 is coming, but I will say that these games, I'd have to imagine, were pretty successful, and there is a large fan base behind them. A lot of people, and I mean a lot of people online, grew up playing the Lego Batman games, and they mean a lot to that group of people, and I'd have to imagine that WB Games is aware of that and would want there to be a Lego Batman 4. So fingers crossed that we end up getting that in the future, but there you have it. 7 DC games, some confirmed, some rumored, some that we hope will exist at some point. Either way, I wanted to make this video to try and instill a little bit of hope in DC fans that there may be some great games on the way. Marvel games are certainly on another level at this point. I mean, between Spider-Man 2, we know Marvel's Wolverine is on the way, and so much more has been announced. So hopefully WB Games starts utilizing the DC brand to its fullest potential and we get some amazing DC games in the future. No matter what, any superhero game that's announced, I will be covering right here on this channel, and I will make sure to give you guys all the news and updates for each and every one of them, Marvel or DC. So subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell to be immediately notified when a video goes live. And with that being said, let me now kick it to you guys. Out of all of these games, which DC game coming up are you most looking forward to? I've been Caboose. I'll see you guys later.